I'm Officer Justin Shepard. I'm one of the CIT specialists with the Overland Park Crisis Action Team. I am a specialty that focuses on training, community outreach, and those of the elderly population. In 2019, the Overland Park Crisis Action Team was a concept that was in its infancy. We had a behavioral health unit at the time where we were collaborating our response with the Johnson County Mental Health Center, but we had to find a way to be able to expand on that coverage. So we sat down and we discussed different ways to be able to work on that expansion. And over the years, that developed from just having one officer and two co-responders up to the current iteration, which is the Overland Park Crisis Action Team, which is 4 CIT specialists, and we're about at 6 co-responders at this point, which is a great moment to be able to get to, working underneath a dedicated sergeant and a direct captain to be able to help coordinate efforts of the team as a whole. It is also beneficial that our sergeant is currently our CRT Canine Handler, which is our Critical Incident Response Team Canine. Haven, you probably met her, and she's a wonderful resource to be able to have.
So my name is Officer Dion Coleman with the OPCAT unit, and my specialties are over the juvenile population as well as the faith-based organizations. Police officers who are selected to be CIT specialists have the ability to identify certain specialties. Veterans, juveniles, IDD or intellectual disabilities population, and even elderly. And in these specialties, CIT officers are able to gather further information and resources in order to be a little bit better versed in these crisis responses.
Hey, I'm Morgan Hamilton. I'm the veteran CIT specialist for the Overland Park Police Department, Overland Park Crisis Action Team. So one of the questions we get from the community is, how do we request OPCAT? And what I would say is it really depends on the circumstances. If you think someone's going to be hurt or damaged to property, go ahead and just call 911 and then let the call taker from dispatch know that you need an OPCAT unit or it's mental health related. If you don't think that it's an immediate danger or damage to property, go ahead and call our non-emergency number and relay that it's a mental health issue and that you're requesting OPCAT.
Originally, when I came to start working with the behavioral health unit, I was wearing the same uniform as the patrol officers. Over time and interactions, we found out that there was a certain aspect of trauma consideration we had to make with our approach. So we softened the uniform by providing a polo, changed the color setup so it's a little different from patrol, but if you notice, I still have my same equipment and gear that I would if I was working in patrol. It's just a different design for the belt layout, the equipment on there, so it looks different, a little softer in the approach. And the idea behind that is to be able to separate that mindset and lessen the impact of having us follow up with individuals who have had a traumatic experience.
We've had instances where individuals who are in crisis will call and say, hey, I want guys in brown pants, or I want the brown pants to show up, or the maroon shirts when they're talking about co-responders. Like, it's amazing how they can identify and say, hey, I want somebody who I know may be a little bit better versed in handling my crisis.
When people look at the uniform, they make that connection with mental health.
Same thing is true about the vehicles that we drive in. If you look at it from the outside, it largely looks like a regular vehicle because it doesn't have lights on top, it doesn't have any markings on the side of it that mark it as a police officer vehicle. But this way we can go into a neighborhood, or we could back up officers already having an interaction, and it lessens the stigma by having another vehicle show up as opposed to having another patrol officer show up.
We see a lot of our community reach out in order to gather resources. And in specific to our community, a lot of our individuals experiencing homelessness reach out to our faith-based communities. So as OPCAT, having a faith-based liaison, we're able to directly bridge that gap to receive resources for our community that may be experiencing homelessness. What we call them are care packages.
Or resource backpacks that we can give to individuals who lack supplies or experiencing a lack of shelter or a lack of home. Toothpaste, toothbrush, pair of socks, different things you can use for hygiene, a few snacks.
Being able to provide that care package to our individuals experiencing homelessness allows us to provide that right now service to those who are in need.
And any mental health call that we have in the city, the goal is to send a CIT specialist and a co-responder to every scene.
And it's very important for us to be able to work on that response because our hope and the mission with the group is to be able to give the right intervention at the right time by the right people.